Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Halaxy webinar on reminders. It's fantastic to be here with you. I can see we already have quite a few of us filtering in right now. So hi, Lydia from Melbourne, Tina from Melbourne as well, Tanya from Brisbane, Julie, May, hello, fantastic. Di, fantastic to see you. We have a number of people here who are new to Halaxy as well. So brilliant, absolutely brilliant. What we'll do is we'll just wait another 30 seconds to a minute and we'll just let everyone filter through. And then we'll start and we'll kick off the webinar for today. So thank you for taking your time to join us. It's absolutely brilliant to be here with you. And hopefully we can provide some value today and assist with understanding Halaxy and how you can use reminders within your practice. Hi, Tracy. If you click play on the broadcast, if there's an option to click play, you should be able to see the broadcast there. Hi, Gareth. Fantastic to see you as well. So there's an option just to click start, and you should be able to see the broadcast coming through. Okay. Well, it looks like we've got most of us here, which is fantastic. So what I'll do first is just go through what we'll be discussing today. And then we'll go straight into actually having a look at the practical side, which is how do we get reminders working in our practice and how do we best automate, utilize them, and make sure that things are working the way we'd like. So let's have a look at what we're talking about today. So essentially, what you might have seen previously is that what we're covering is I'm going to provide an expert guided walkthrough. So I'm going to talk you through initially the steps as to how I'll go about setting up reminders and particularly automating them as well. And then once we've had a bit of an overview, then we'll dive into some more of the detail. And some of that will be customizing your reminders for different appointment types, groups, patients, even how you can customize your reminders for particular practitioners in terms of payment settings as well. We'll go through that. Some automation tips will be, I'll provide them throughout the webinar, so keep an ear out there. But a lot of the benefit of Halaxy is you can automate much of your practice across most of your practice, but particularly I'll focus on reminders today. And we'll talk briefly about the benefits of two-way reminders and how they can integrate directly within your calendar. And then we'll talk about actually how do you go about tracking reminder success on an individual appointment basis, but also as a whole as well. And Margarita, absolutely, this will be available afterwards as a recording, but you're welcome to take notes if you'd like as well. But we'll be providing this as a recording after too. So what we'll do is, well, first of all, let's actually just talk about some of the house rules here. So essentially, if you have any questions, you'll see in your chat. So what a lot of people have done so far, a lot of everyone filtering through. No worries, Margarita. Filtering through, we're having a conversation in the chat window predominantly at the moment, and you'll see in the bottom right of your screen, or most likely in the bottom right of your screen, there's a chat mode. If you click that button, that will change your chat to Q&A mode. So if you have a question, just make sure if you want it answered, it's myself and the team on hand at the moment. So we have Kira, Gary, Key, and Isabella who are here to respond to your questions. Just need to make sure that you've clicked Q&A mode in the bottom right, just to where it says chat mode. You can change that by clicking the icon, and you can ask your questions that way as well. Fantastic. So if anyone's having any trouble with accessing the webinar, you can always refresh the page as well and then click the play button again. That's another option there. Okay, so just make sure if you've got any questions, ask through the Q&A section. So what I'll do now is I'll share my screen so you can actually see the Halaxy application. So let's go ahead and do that. So right about now, everybody should be able to see the Halaxy screen. It should be a common or a familiar thing to see. So you can see that we actually have the calendar here in front of us. So today we're talking about reminders, and essentially what we aim to do with Halaxy is to simplify your life with practice administration. Thank you, Tracy, for letting me know. So we're looking to simplify your life as much as possible, particularly from the administration point of view. And essentially what that means from the reminders perspective is that all you have to do is create an appointment. And from creating that appointment, your reminders, however you've set them up previously, will already be scheduled to send at the appropriate time. And not only that, they'll actually dynamically update with the particular information that's relevant either to the appointment, to you as a practitioner, as a practice group, or to the patient themselves as well. So the copy will change depending on the settings you've set up. And we'll go through all of that today. So how do we go about actually sending reminders? Well, as I just said, it's as straightforward as creating an appointment. So here, I'm going to create an appointment. We have an example patient. I'm going to select that example patient here. Let's include a fee. Now, this is just like including any type of fee within our practice. So in this case, well, what should we do? I'll actually just create one. So a private fee, straightforward as that. So I'm going to create a new fee here. We'll make this one 80 Australian dollars, but depending on where you are, that should reflect your currency. And the duration for this one, let's make it 45 minutes. Funder will be a private funder because our patient is paying, or our client is paying. So we have our private fee here. I'm going to choose a nice color and we'll add the fee. Okay, fantastic. So we have our patient, have the fee. We can see the amounts there and the duration set at 45 minutes. Now let's click save. Fantastic. Brilliant. If anyone's having a bit of trouble seeing it in terms of if it's a little bit fuzzy at all, it's likely because of the connection speeds. So hopefully just bear with the broadcast and hopefully it looks a little bit clearer. But apologies for that. So as we're now looking at the appointment here, what you'll notice is there's a reminders option. And there's a reminders option that appears once you've created an appointment. There's a little bell that appears to the right of your appointment details. And if we click the bell, this is the area where your scheduled reminders will appear. Now, at the moment, we haven't actually set up any reminder settings, so we don't see any reminders appearing here. So the next natural question is, well, how do I go about setting up my reminder settings and what's the best way to doing it? So the best way to set up your reminder settings is by clicking settings just here. And if we navigate down, we can navigate down towards reminders. Now, if you can't see that clearly, just know the option is reminders. So that's the area that we want to select. So we'll click reminders here from our settings page. And from this page, once the reminders page is loaded, we'll see that this is a screen. At the top, it's titled Reminder Settings. You'll see there's a number of options up top. Then there's a section titled Preferences. And then we also have a section titled Copy to the right. Where we're going to focus our attention initially is this section here titled Preferences, so on the left. And the reason why is because this is the box that actually determines whether you're sending reminders or not. And so to send our reminders, to set up our reminders across either SMS or email, we click our edit option up here. So let's click the edit option. And what appears here, and I'll just deselect that for now. What appears here is we have a number of different ways that we can send reminders within our practice. And Halaxy provides you with the option to either send by SMS or email or both. And not only that, you can send your reminders for a new appointment. You can actually send a reminder when you move your appointment. So when you change your appointments, reminders can be sent out automatically to that particular patient or client that you have. You can also set up pre-appointment reminders. And so they're the three that I'm particularly going to focus on today. And so what are pre-appointment reminders, Michael? Well, pre-appointment reminders essentially are you can have an appointment created and then a day or 2 days, or as we can see here in the drop-down list, up to 5 days before an appointment, you could have a pre-appointment reminder automatically sent at either the time of the appointment itself. So if the appointment was going to occur at 9 a.m. On a Wednesday, then that, and you set your reminder to send a day before, then that would send at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday to your patient or client. Or you could set it at a particular time to send the day or 2 or 5 days before. And this is the option here. Now, that's really helpful, particularly for reducing your no-shows and ensuring that people are actually going to attend the consultations that they booked in, potentially sometimes months in advance, without you having to be as concerned about following up with individuals all the time. The pre-appointment reminder, you can take comfort knowing that that's going to send for you automatically. And what we'll talk about later on in today's discussion, tonight's discussion, depending on where you're viewing from, will actually be about how do you go about setting up two-way reminders so you can see when your patients or clients respond to those pre-appointment reminders with a confirmation, or when they say that they can't attend, you can actually have that. You can see directly from within your Halaxy calendar the opportunities there where you can see whether they've clicked confirm or not. And you can see that quite visually with different colors. So I'll walk through that as well. But so for now, what we're looking to do is to set up some reminders. So I'm going to set up an email reminder. We'll start off with emails and then we'll move across to SMSs. So I'm going to set up an email reminder for new appointments. So anytime we create a new appointment for a patient, it will send a reminder. And then what we'll also set up is a pre-appointment reminder here. Now that's just going to be a standard pre-appointment reminder for emails. We're not going to go into the two-way reminders for SMSs at this stage. So we've set up a new appointment reminder for email and a pre-appointment reminder for email as well. Now, for our pre-appointment reminder, let's set the time we'd like it to send prior. So instead of 24 hours or a day before, let's send it 2 days before the appointment. So we want to know, or we want to update our clients and patients 2 days before their appointment. Automatically, we want them to receive an email reminder. And remember, I'll go through SMS as well after going through this initial stage. So we'll send it at the same appointment time for this particular patient and client. And I'll select all patients and click save. And Lydia, I understand that the screen is blurry for some people watching. I apologize for that. We apologize. What we'll do is hopefully the bandwidth picks up. But if not, we'll look to improve it on the next webinar as well. But what I will be doing is trying to make sure that I've covered everything verbally as well. So if something isn't seen on screen or isn't as clear, hopefully by talking through it clearly enough, you have an understanding as to where to look and what you're looking for as well. So I'll make sure that the options that I'm selecting I clearly state. So thank you for mentioning that. Okay, so what we've done now is we've set up our email reminders for new appointments and pre-appointments. So what does that mean, Michael? Well, what that means is if we, let's say, have a new patient attend, in this case, so we have our previous patient here. Well, what I'll do is actually, we can just use our current patient and we'll create another appointment. So let's create a new appointment for this current patient. And we've navigated to our calendar and now I'm typing in the patient's name. I'm selecting the patient's name. I'm going to add the private fee that we just created earlier. And you saw hopefully how straightforward that was to create that fee. We're going to click save. So a patient or a client has either called us to book an appointment or we've just seen them and we're going to rebook them. We're going to book them in for another appointment. So I'm going to create that appointment there. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this reminders bell, which is to the right of patient details. Now, what will be interesting is whether there's actually any reminders set here. And as we can see, there actually isn't any reminders showing. And the reason why is because this appointment has been created in the past. So Halaxy knows that if you're creating an appointment that's after the current time and date, Well, the reminders won't be set because there isn't anything to remind the patient or your client for. So what we need to do is actually create an appointment ahead of where we currently are. So it could be later on today or tonight, or it could be the next day. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to create an appointment for tomorrow on this calendar, and we're going to type in our same patient. We're going to type in the same fee here and click save. Now you can type in any type of fee you like, that's all right. And we'll talk about how you can specialize your reminders for different types of fees later in this webinar also. So now let's click this reminder bell. And if we click the reminder bell, which is to the right of patient details in the appointment information box, hopefully what you can see is that this screen is showing you information that's different to what was displayed in the previous screen. And what we're looking at here is we have two different types of reminders that have been scheduled to send. Now, the first reminder that's been scheduled to send is one because we've created the appointment, so that reminder will automatically be sent. And the second reminder that's here that we can also see is the follow-up. It's the pre-appointment reminder. And because this appointment is scheduled to occur tomorrow from today's date on the calendar, what that means is that because you have pre-appointment reminders set as well, the individual will receive one email for their appointment that's been created to confirm the appointment. And then they'll also receive another email immediately after that saying your appointment is occurring, in this case, tomorrow at a certain time. And what we'll do is we'll talk about how you can actually design customized copy as well as we go. So don't be concerned about that. We'll talk about how you can customize your copy. Now, preview icon that we have in Halaxy. And if you hover over the preview icon, you can see the text that's being sent to your patient or your client. And in this case, we have, please do not respond to this automated email. Dear example patient, your appointment with our practitioner's name is on 18th of June 2020 at 11 a.m. at the practice location. Please contact the practice if you have any queries. So I understand it might have dropped out a little bit there. So essentially what we're talking about here is we have the appointment reminders set for the pre-appointment reminders and also for when the appointment is created as well. So you can see the copy here by hovering over the preview icon. And also what's important to note is that these reminders have been scheduled. So you can see from here, from this dashboard, when you view it on your own appointments, the status of your reminders. So once this is sent, then the reminder is sent. But prior to it being sent, you can actually edit the reminder by clicking the edit icon that appears to the right of the reminder window. So if I go back into the reminders bell, the actions section provides you with the opportunity to preview the reminders you have scheduled, to actually edit the reminders you have scheduled, or to force send the reminder now. So there's a curly arrow that you should be able to see, and you'll be able to click that arrow to send the reminder straight away instead of waiting for it to be scheduled. Or you could even cancel the reminder ahead of time. Now, once the reminder is sent, the status will change to sent. So you can see when your reminders are sent. So we have a question. Can you watch the recording of this webinar at a later time tonight? Absolutely. We'll be providing a copy of this webinar by video as well. So thank you for that question. Now, and also we had a question come through about how many credits does it cost to send an email reminder? Email reminders are free within Halaxy. So you can send as many emails as you like, and they come at zero cost, at no cost. Where there is a charge is SMS reminders, and I'll cover that in a moment's time. In fact, now's possibly a good time to talk about SMS reminders. So we'll talk about SMS reminders a little bit, and then we'll move to talking about the way you can change the wording of your reminders. And mixed into that, we'll actually talk about how you can set certain reminders because it's relevant to the wording, depending on the type of consultations you're providing. So if you're providing a consultation at your practice location, your physical location, you can have a different type of reminder set for that. As opposed to, say, an online consultation, you can have a different type of reminder wording that's set for your online consultations as well. And it's worth noting that as we move to SMS reminders, that they have a higher open rate than emails. So what we do see is emails will have a lower open rate and a much lower open rate than what SMSs have. So when you send an SMS, as we all have experienced, we're more likely to open those SMSs. So from what we've seen is SMSs have a 98% open rate, which is significantly higher than any type of email that can be sent. So if you have an issue with no-shows within your practice, or you're looking to reduce that, then SMSs are a great option. They're a small investment at the cost of a credit. And by sending out an SMS, you could guarantee the consultation occurs as well. So let's talk about how do we schedule SMSs. Well, we've seen how we schedule our emails. So this is very similar. It's actually the same process. So let's navigate to our settings page, settings section in the menu, and we're going to click reminders. So we're going to select reminders here. And we're back to our familiar screen, which is essentially the control center for setting up our reminders across both SMSs and email. Now, let's click the edit option to the right of preferences again, because now we're setting up some SMSs. And we have our columns here. So to the left, we have reminders, and there's new appointment, change appointment, and then the pre-appointment reminders section. We have our SMS and SMS column here and our email column. And at the moment, you'll see that none of the SMSs options are actually selected. So let's change that. Let's select, in this case, new appointment is selected for SMSs. And we're going to select a pre-appointment reminder. Now, you'll see there's two options. When you have a look at your screen, there's actually two options for pre-appointment reminders under the SMS field. If we click the first option, which is directly in the same row, directly aligned with the pre-appointment reminder title, what that means is that you will send an SMS to your clients or your patients prior to their appointment at the given time that you've set in the pre-appointment reminder timing settings, which appears halfway down the screen here below. So you will send an SMS, but what you won't have set up is two-way SMS reminders. So what I recommend is if you're looking to receive feedback from your customers or your clients or your patients as to when they're attending their appointments, select the two-way reminders option. So you want to make sure that this is selected here. And that means that you can actually receive a response from your clients via SMS. So we also had a question come through from Fiona. So does the two-way reminder cost you 2 text credits? Well, two-way SMS also updates the calendar automatically, and the two-way costs the same as one-way. So one-way SMSs will cost you the same as setting up your two-way reminders as well. So we've set that up, and now let's click Save here. So actually, prior to clicking Save, we're going to set up our SMS reminder time in advance too. And we're going to set that to 1 day before, whereas our email is sent 2 days before. So essentially, we're reminding them in a softer approach in some ways by email 2 days prior, but we'll send an SMS reminder 1 day prior. You also have the option within your SMSs to determine when they're sent, and emails actually, to determine whether they're sent on weekends as well or weekdays only. But we're going to send it on the day before, independent of whether it's on a weekend. No problem. Thanks for your question, Fiona. Appreciate it. So now let's have a look, and we're going to update all of our patients as well. So we want to update this across our patient list, not just patients without reminder preferences. So all patients. So let's navigate back to our calendar now. And we're going to create another appointment. So we'll create a new appointment here. We're going to select our example patient again. We're going to create a private, we're going to add our private fee. And now we have the appointment generated. So we've generated our appointment from our calendar. Let's click the reminders bell here. And we're selecting the reminders bell, just like how we did before, which is this icon here to the right of patient details in your appointment information screen. And now hopefully what you can see even if it is a little bit fuzzy for some, I apologize. But hopefully what you can see is that this is now more built out in terms of there's more things that are appearing. So this is actually a larger list. And what this means is because we have our emails set up, you can see the 2 lots of emails are there, but also the 2 lots of SMSs are here too. And we also had a question, can I send SMS if I'm based in South Africa? Absolutely. You can send SMS from South Africa as well. So SMSs are available globally, and you can send these out from any location. What we are working on, which is location specific, is our payments processing, and we're looking at rolling that out globally as well in the near future. But SMSs you can send. So thank you for that question. So in terms of getting back to what we can see here, now we have 2 lots of SMSs are sending. And why are there 2 lots? Because one was scheduled for, no problem, thank you. So one was scheduled for when the appointment was created, which we just created, and another is scheduled for the pre-appointment reminder. And again, you can see under the actions column, you can preview your text, your copy here, so the wording of your reminder. You can also edit your reminder by clicking the edit icon here. You can force send your reminder ahead of its scheduled time by clicking the arrow icon, or you could actually select the cancel the reminder option here as well. So they're the 4 options that you have available, and they're available whilst the reminder is scheduled. Now, this reminder is scheduled to send at 5:31 at the moment. And so for us at the moment with the current time zone, that's going to be in a couple of minutes. That reminder will send by SMS. So setting up your SMSs are as easy as what we've just gone through. Now, the only step that you need to add in addition to setting up emails is making sure that you've purchased credits, because naturally SMSs come with a cost, and that cost is variable, and it depends on what it ultimately depends on is how many credits you buy up front. So you can buy credits in bulk in Halaxy, and I'll show you where you can do that now. So if we navigate back to our reminders control center, as I like to call it, the reminders section under settings, so settings reminders. Here you can see at the top, we can now look to the top area here, and the first 2 sections, we can see our balance, so our reminder balance, and there's an option there where we can purchase credits. And the other area is our top-up section. So what does top-up mean? That means if you run low, if you're about to run low on your credits, so there's a chance that actually you might run out of credits, but you have appointments that are scheduled. You can set your top-up limit to set a certain amount, which means that you'll be automatically charged that amount in credits. So it means that you never run out. Now, that amount can be almost as low as you like. I'm going to set $10 in this case. And that means that if our credit level, if our balance runs too low, so we look like we're going to run out of credits, then automatically the card that I have on file will be charged, in this case, $10. Now, how much a credit's worth? So the way that you can look this up outside of the webinar is by going to halaxy.com/pricing. So halaxy.com/pricing. But SMS credits, if you purchase them below it, so if you purchase less than $100 worth up front, then each credit will cost you 22 cents Australian. There are particular costs in terms of if you're in South Africa, they will naturally have a different charge. If you're in Ireland, they have a different charge. If you're in the UK, a different charge. USA, so forth. But feel free just to send us an email at community@halaxy.com, and we're happy to provide you with what those rates are. But as an indicative number, and the way that rates come down, I'll talk you through that now. So we have essentially what we call our bronze level, and that's at 1 to 100 Australian dollars is 22 cents per credit. Silver is between $100 to $200 that you purchase up front. That's 20 cents. Gold is $200 to $400 Australian, and that's 18 cents. And then there's a platinum level, whereas if you buy over $400 worth of credits up front, so if you feel like you're going to be using credits quite a lot, or if you can see that you're using them going ahead, you can purchase at that level, and they're 15 cents. So the amount varies between 22 down to 15 cents. So not a significant impost in that sense. What we like to do at Halaxy is we charge a little across a larger user base, as opposed to charging larger subscription fees and that type of thing. What we look to do as well as and try and reduce the cost as the volume grows too. So something to note in addition is that credits don't expire. So once you've purchased your credits, you've got those credits for life until you use them. So there's no expiry date on those credits either. So you can continue to have them and be confident in the knowledge that when the time's right that you'd like to use them, you can as well. So in terms of purchasing them, you can purchase credits here by clicking the buy credits option. But then that naturally leads us, so I'll just click this right now and you can see you can enter in the amount. Now, that naturally leads us to the next question, which is, well, if I run a practice where there's a number of practitioners, and we had this question come in earlier prior to the webinar going forward today. So we had a practitioner who asked us, well, I have a number of practitioners in my practice. Are they all going to be charged on the one card, or is there a way that I can either allocate credits or actually have the credits coming out of their accounts directly? And the answer is you can. So you can click settings, and now we're going to go to the payments page, because this is more related to, it's not about reminder settings, so to speak. This is about your payment and your charge settings. So we navigate to settings payments. And as we scroll down, you'll see here there's a Halaxy credit settings section. And it's an easy one to see because it has this space above it, and you'll see it appears across the entire row. Now, if you're in a practice where you have additional practitioners, you'll see there's an option here where you can actually add new. And if you click add new, you can select to add an individual preference depending on your practitioners. So you can actually set up, if there's a practitioner that operates as a contractor and you'd like their credits to, they would be charged for their own credits, you can set that up here. And the add new button will look similar to the one you can see here underneath BPay and accounting. Depending on the market you're in. So this is the page here, and there's an option to customize your credits depending on the practitioners within your practice. So hopefully that's helpful in terms of seeing that. Now, what do the emails look like? Well, I can show you because we've already scheduled 2 emails to send. So I'm actually going to show you in our practice, in our example patients page, and we can see here, we've received the new appointment and the appointment reminder because we set the next appointment to be the next day. So that's within the 2-day reminder period. So the pre-appointment will send as well. But if you don't want it to send, you can always click the bell and you can cancel that because you've already got one reminder being sent. But let's click this, for example. And there's 2 lots of messages here because essentially what's happening is we created 2 appointments. So there was a message that was sent at 5:24, and then we created a second appointment, and then it was received at 5:33. So it means that your patients and clients, depending on the email client that they use, they could actually see everything organized quite neatly across their appointments. And if we have a look at what does the pre-appointment reminder look like, we can see that here too. Now, you can always preview your SMS reminders by having a look at the preview option within the calendar. And later on in this webinar, what I'll do is I'll talk us through how do we run reports. So you can actually see and you can export reports on all of your reminders that you've sent across your practice as well. But the next question that we usually have is, well, how do I change the copy in my reminders? And after we talk about how do we change the copy in our reminders, what I'll do is I'll then show you how your reminders adapt to the type of practice, the type of location that you're actually sending them from. And then what we'll do is I'll talk about how you can customize your reminders for particular clients and patients, because we understand that some clients have different needs or different, or you'd like to communicate with them differently as well. So just before we go into talk about the wording, so the copy section here to the right, Lena, we had a question come through. So do different lengths of messages cost different amounts of credits, or is it per SMS message? Thank you very much for that question. Thanks for the clarification. So the answer is the costs do vary depending on the length of the message, but if you're making sure that the wording is within a certain size, then it will only be 1 credit. So usually it's 1 credit that's sent, but there is the chance that you could be sending 2 credits worth, because the way that SMS carriers work is that they charge based on the length of the messages. So 1 credit is equivalent to 160 characters. And that perfectly leads into talking about wording, because if we navigate now to our copy section, so the copy section in settings reminders, we can now adjust our wording to fit within that character limit for SMSs. But we could also adjust our wording generally across emails and SMS reminders so they can suit what we want them to look like for our practice, down to a practitioner and a patient and an appointment level. So to access that section, you can click the edit icons, so the little pencil icons that appear to the right. Select any one of those, and if we click one of those here, we'll navigate to the copy page, copy section. And so now you should be able to see on your screens that this is the copy section. It may be a little bit blurry for some, but as we can see here, fantastic. We see the copy section, and what you'll see is to the left. So this is important. To the left of screen, you have a number of options, and these options reflect what you've selected in the reminders page. So I'll just navigate back, and we can see here we have ticks and crosses. So we can see we've got new appointment, create appointment, pre-appointment. And if we navigate now to the right to our copy section, we can see new appointment, change appointment, pre-appointment. And there's also a couple of other options where you can actually customize your email invoices for your patients, organizations, and even your waiting list invitations as well. Then we'll discuss about video consults and phone consults too. But let's navigate to the new appointment copy, click the edit icon. And here we see, as with these top 3 options here, and video consults and phone consults, there'll be 2 options that appear. One is the SMS/text copy. So this is the copy that we're actually sending out via SMS automatically. And then we'll see the email copy here below that. So there's an SMS section and there's an email section. Now, if you're not using one of these or either of these, you can leave them as is, because what determines whether they get sent or not is your preferences. So what we recommend is leave the copy here if you're not using it. That's fine. But if you are using it, then you can have a look, you can review it. This is default copy, but you can actually change the wording to suit what you need. Now, the question we had before was about SMSs and the length of the SMS. Are there charges when they go over a certain number? So the answer there was, if you're over 160 characters, you will be charged for 2 SMSs. And if you're over 305 characters, then it goes into the 3 SMS territory. But you don't want to be going too large as well for SMSs anyway. But the way you can determine the character is by looking at the character estimate here. So under the SMS/text copy section, you'll see you're provided with a character estimate. And our best advice is just to check that that's under 160 characters. Now, what I will note is that the characters can change. The character count will change depending on the dynamic text that's involved as well. So if you have a practice location that has a large practice location name, well, that's naturally going to be using more characters than what may be shown in the estimate, because the estimate is being driven by the text we see here in the SMS text copy section. But with dynamic terms, and if you're unsure what dynamic terms are, essentially what they are is you can set a dynamic term. So in this case, we have new appointment, your appointment with square brackets, practitioner name is on square brackets, appointment date/time at in square brackets, appointment location. That means that these sections within the square brackets will populate for you automatically, and it'll pull through the relevant information that's linked to that patient regarding your particular appointment. So that's great, because you don't have to consistently change the time and reset the text every time. This is all happening for you in the background. But it means that if your practitioner name is longer than what the square bracket is here, you just have to factor that in. So it's just something to look out for. You can always preview it as well. And this is where you can actually see what the character estimate is, and you can see what the credit number would be as well. So that's SMSs. And then in terms of emails, the same thing works with dynamic terms. Obviously, there's no charge, but you can add in dynamic terms by searching through this list here that drops down. in the formatting bar, and you can also change your text within here, and there's an option to preview. If you click the preview option, you can see how that will appear in your emails. And remember to save whenever you click through as well. So fantastic. What we'll navigate to now is I'll show you the change appointment screen, just to show you how familiar that is. Hopefully, once we've seen the new appointment screen, the change appointment screen should seem very familiar, and also with pre-appointments as well. Now, the difference in pre-appointments is that we have this two-way copy section. So when you activate two-way copy in your pre-appointment reminders, what is appended to your SMS messages is, in this case, reply yes to confirm or call, and you can have the practice number in there to reschedule. So that means when you receive yes, if you activated two-way copy reminders to be turned on in your preferences section like we saw earlier, where your clients or customers or patients reply with yes, your calendar will automatically update its color. So what does that mean? Well, we'll have a look at that, and then we'll come back to video consults and phone consults. So let's have a look at our calendar. We'll navigate here, and hopefully what you can see is there's a color that's appearing in the time bar of your particular appointment. And when I hover over the appointment and the time bar itself, we can actually see a sample of the invoice. So that's just a helpful pop-up that appears there, so you can quickly see the invoice status. But essentially, that's at the moment, you can hopefully see that color, and that color is orange. Now, or amber, I should be saying. So what does that mean? Well, in this case, actually, I'll leave that as that. So what does that mean? That means that we have different colors that will appear within your appointments, depending on the type of response that's received from here. So if we have a look, the amber color means that we're either waiting for the patient to respond, or the patient has sent an ambiguous response. So sometimes if they don't reply clearly with yes, well then their response is going to appear a bit different. The processor isn't going to know what type of response that is. But you can always view their responses by clicking the appointment and clicking the bell icon here. So you can see the responses coming through. But what we're looking for is essentially a green color to appear, because that means that the appointment is confirmed. So when a patient sends a positive response, you'll see this color changes to green. And sorry, I'll clarify what I said before, because when I sent the SMS, I think I'd cancelled it, so it failed. So if there's an amber, if this orange color appears, what you should be doing is checking that appointment within the reminder icon, and we can see here that this SMS failed. And the SMS failed because the number I have in there isn't a real number. So it's not a valid phone number. So if we hover over the question mark, we can see the reason why this SMS failed. So that's the amber color. But if we're waiting for a response, it'll actually be an orange color, which means the appointment is booked, an SMS reminder has been sent, but no reply has been received as yet. And what I'll note is if anyone's sending any questions through, just to make sure you select the Q&A section and you send to everybody in the Q&A section as well. That way our wider team can help respond to all of your questions too, just in case they're being sent privately. So the colors that you want to look out for here, and it's really helpful, are either green. So green means the appointment's confirmed or it's already occurred. So we can see here this appointment's occurred because it's in the past and it was attended. These appointments have amber colors, which means we need to review the response. And the reason we're given is because the number's not a valid phone number. If they're yellow, we're waiting on a response, and you can always resend another reminder if you'd like by clicking the reminder icon. And we can have a look here. And actually, that will be helpful. What I'll do is I'll talk us through how do we send a reminder another time. What I'll do in terms of that aspect, I'll leave that for the time being actually. So, and the final step is what we want to be looking for is that turning green. So it hasn't turned green prior to the appointment. Just have a look and see what's going on. But two-way reminders are really helpful because it means at a glance you can see what's happening within your appointment. I did say first that we're going to have a look at, well, how do we customize our messages, our wording for reminders to online consultation? So let's have a look at that. Let's create another appointment. We'll enter in our example patient here. I'm going to select private, same type of fee. You can select any fee, that's fine. And before clicking save, there, if you'll see there's a location. At the moment, it's Alex Smith because that's our group name. You'll probably see your group name there. But if you click the location option, you actually get another number of options under the other section where we can select the example patient's location. We can select the organization's location if there's an organization attached to the appointment. But here, what I want to draw our attention to is online consultation and phone consultation. So I'm going to select online consultation and then click save. And now this appointment has been generated as an online consultation. That means a couple of things. It means that you can actually add in the appointment link, so the URL that you'd like your patient or client to attend, by clicking this icon that appears here to the left of the reminders icon. So it appears only for these online consultations, and it looks like a camera, like a webcam. So you can click that and actually add in your URL, so the booking URL for your clients and patients. Now, and for your own reference as well, so you know that that's the link that you'll be attending. What does that mean? Why is that important? Well, why is it helpful? It's helpful because when you set up your reminders for online consultations, that link that we just added will actually appear within the reminders link for online consultations as well, provided that you have the online link added to the copy. So let's have a look at what that means in practice. So let's navigate to settings, reminders. So settings, reminders, again, a familiar screen. Our preferences at the moment are set as new appointment and pre-appointment, and they're ticked for both SMS and email, and that's fine. So they're going to be sent even with an online consultation. So change the location, they'll still be sent. Where we want to spend our effort and our time is in the wording. So let's have a look. We'll see here there's a video consultation section underneath the copy area and a phone consultation section. And these line up perfectly with the location that you select. Now, if you're primarily using one location over another, or if you have set times where you conduct video consults, and then you have set times when you're in your location, you can actually set your appointments within Halaxy to automatically change their location preferences depending on the time when you book the appointment. I'll cover that briefly after talking about wording, but that's the next step from here. So let's navigate to the video consultation and we'll select new appointment. Fantastic. And you'll see that this is a very familiar screen. It should look very similar to what you've seen before. Sorry, I accidentally clicked. Let's add an attachment. So this screen looks identical to new appointment, change appointment, pre-appointment. It's just under the video consultation section. So if you adjust the copy here for your SMSs, or you adjust the copy here for your emails, this is the copy that's going to be sent for your locations when they're selected as online consultations, video consultations, online consultations. Or if you select phone consultations, you can also select specific reminder copy there as well. Now, just a reminder, so to speak, if you set your URL, so if you set your web link, just make sure that in your online consultation that you're adding in, let's have a look here, video consult link. That's a dynamic term that I've just searched for, and you can add video consult link into your emails, and you can also add video consult link into your SMSs by selecting the options, the preset options for your SMSs to the right. So if you know what your web link is going to be, and if it's the same or if it changes depending on appointments, that's fine. So long as you've set it in your appointment window, you'll actually, where we just saw, you'll actually be able to send that link directly to your patient or your client. Now, if any of this is unclear at any stage or you have further questions, you can always contact us at community@halaxy.com. That's community@halaxy.com, or you can call us as well. But what I recommend you do first is you actually click this icon here in the top right. So it's a light blue question mark, and we have a comprehensive help guide where we offer guided walkthroughs step by step, by text, by images, and also by video. And if you've got a query about any of these things, anything that I've mentioned, just search for that term that I've mentioned, and you should be able to find more information about that here as well. So that's a really strong recommendation. But if you're ever stuck, you can always email us at community@halaxy.com or call us as well. And we're available 18 hours a day, Monday to Friday. So let's, in terms of what I did mention as well, so that video consultation copy is now going to appear whenever we set up a video consultation link. What I did mention was that you could actually set up separate times for video consults in your practice and times when you're actually in your practice physically. So I'll cover that very briefly. But where you want to navigate to is personal, select locations, and you can actually add another schedule. So you'll see that you have your locations here, and you might have one or you might have multiple. But you can actually set the time that you're available at your locations here. Now, I'm going to add another schedule, and what you'll see as an option that appears when you have a look is the consultation type. So there's a drop-down list where you can select physical, phone consultation, online consultation, or home visits. So if you allocate time in your day or in your week where, say, Mondays and Tuesdays, you're physically in your clinic, well, then keep that as as you being in your clinic and select the time being Monday and then Tuesday. We've done that. And then what I'd do is, let's just ignore this time that we have here from earlier. You can always adjust that. You can edit it. I'm just going to create a new one just to keep it clean. You can change your consultation type then for the rest of the week to say, let's say you accept online consultations Wednesday through to Friday. Change it to online consultation under consultation type. Change the days to Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And you're good to go. So those reminders, and when you book an appointment, it'll now book it appropriately for either online consultations if they're Wednesday to Friday, or physically in your clinic if it's Monday or Tuesday. And Wendy, thank you for your response there. That's fantastic, particularly on the changes we've made and the improvements to telehealth generally. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. And there's lots of features in Halaxy where you can customize large areas of your practice. And what we're hoping to do here is to give you that clarity and that confidence that you can actually set your practice up the way you would like, and you can communicate with your patients and clients the way you'd prefer, just by setting up these different features. Now, what we've looked at and what we haven't touched on so much, what we have looked at previously is how do you see the status of a current an appointment or a particular appointment, so a distinct appointment. What I haven't talked about is actually looking at all of your communication as a whole. So to do that, and given the time that we have left as well, it's probably good timing for it. You can actually have a look at, and you can review and run reports on all of the SMSs and all of the emails that you have sent to your clients and patients within your practice. Now, the way to do that is by clicking reports in the menu bar and then selecting communication. And when you select communication, you'll have the option to run a new report in the top right. It's the blue button. So if we click new report from here, we can select report type. And here you'll have another number of options. You can select reminders generally as a report type, or you can select emails and SMSs specifically. But let's just click reminders as the general reminders. You can, with Halaxy reports, there's a number of filters. You don't have to complete all these filters. They're here just so, you've got the flexibility to really drill down to the information you would like. So if we'd like to, we could set the date, the time frame we're looking to review these reminders in a report. We could actually narrow in on patients, specific patients, and we can add multiple ones at a time. We can actually select practitioners as well. And we can select the status that we're trying to review for our reminders. So that's the actual status of the reminder itself. But let's click Run Generally. So we're running a reminders report here. And from here, we can actually see the reminders that we've set up over time. And you'll see that under type, you can see when they're SMS or email. You can see the practitioner that it's being sent from, the appointment time, the date that it was sent on, and also the status is here. So this is really helpful. So if a patient or a client is saying to you, I never received a reminder, well, you can actually run this report and get a pretty good idea whether they've received it or not. Now, I'll note that with some emails, your clients may receive the emails in their junk mailbox. That's just the nature of email clients. So if that happens, that's the first thing to check, that they check their junk mailbox and they just approve your emails going forwards. And then you can see the recipients. And if you hover over the sections here, you can actually see the messages that are being sent as well. So this is how you run reports. Now, we have a couple minutes left, and hopefully a lot of your questions have been answered, and it's been great seeing the participation today. We've all greatly appreciated it, and our teams, we're all working hard to make sure we respond to as many questions as possible. So thank you for your time and your interest and your continued interest in using Halaxy. What I'd like to just clarify for the final minute here is we've talked a lot about setting reminders at the global level, so at your practice level. What I haven't clarified so much are setting reminders for your patients and clients on the patient and client level. And also, no worries, thank you, Melissa, thank you for your message. But also setting up custom names and those type of, custom names and custom numbers. So first of all, I'll just talk about going specifically to your patients and setting up patient-specific reminders. So I've navigated to a patient profile here. This is our example patient who we've been sending loads of messages to over the last hour. This patient's probably sick of hearing from us, but you know what? They're going to attend the appointment, and that's great. What you'll see here on their general page is the reminders section. And this looks somewhat familiar, hopefully. This is actually similar to what we've seen at our practice level in the setting reminders, the setting reminders section. This is a patient-specific section. So if you don't set this, what happens is your patient will actually reflect the reminders you set at your practice level. But here you can change that. So if there's a patient who needs to receive more reminders, well, you can select those reminders here. If there's a patient that needs to receive a reminder the day before instead of 3 days before that your usual settings are at, well, you can change the settings here. If they don't need to receive a reminder, if you'd rather they don't receive a reminder at all, well, then you can deselect everything and still have the reminders included for everyone else within your practice. So that's how you change the reminders for your patients on a patient-specific level. And then finally, what I'd like to highlight is that if you're looking to not activate two-way reminders, I recommend two-way reminders because they can be quite helpful. But if you're looking to activate SMS reminders just one way, you then have the option where you could set up a custom name or a custom number. Now, the reason why it doesn't work for two-way reminders is because a response is required, and there's a particular type of logic that's required there. But if you're looking just to push messages out by SMS, you can do that and have a specific name for your group or a particular number. You can do that by navigating to the settings reminders section and clicking by number or by name. So it's just here in the top right. And Bindi, you've also asked in the replay, is there a way to see the question and answer thread, even send as a separate product? Yep, we're looking to provide that for you as well. So Bindi, we're looking, when we provide the replay, hopefully you'll be able to see the question and answer thread that appears as well at the same time that the replay is occurring. So hopefully that can be helpful. So everybody, essentially that is the reminders expert walkthrough. Have fun with it. Test it out. By all means, create some reminders, create yourself as a practice patient or client, and send yourself some reminders. See that they're scheduled to send, then wait 5 minutes and you'll see that they're received. So by all means, please have a go at it, see how you go. But we're here to help. So that's the important thing. You'll have the replay video after this session sent to you automatically. They'll actually be sent 24 hours after this session. So apologies, I did say earlier that it would appear straight after at night, but it'll appear 24 hours after viewing this one. So you'll receive an email for that. If you have any questions, please, by all means, navigate to the help section up here in the top right, or send us an email at community@halaxy.com or a phone call. We're online right now. We're online 18 hours a day, Monday to Friday. So please send us a message if you need some assistance. We're more than happy to help and really appreciate everyone's input today and also the feedback, because your feedback we build directly into the product. And hopefully for people who have just joined, hopefully you'll see that with time. But also for people that have been using, practitioners and administrators who have been using our product for some time, hopefully you've seen those improvements that we've been building out, and that's based largely on feedback received. So thank you very much. Really appreciate your time. On behalf of Key, Isabella, Kira, Gary, and myself, Michael, thank you for your time today, and hopefully it's given you more confidence with using reminders going forwards. So all the best, and by all means, please reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.